Welcome back. The sufficiency of Maryland's educational spending was brought into question lately after the Kirwan Commission, studying the state's spending habits for school funding, discovered that Maryland lags behind some states with better test scores and greater funding. Ken, do you think Maryland needs to increase their educational budget? Will the outcome be commensurate with the added revenue?
You know, I absolutely will never say that the solution to a problem is throwing more money at it. You know, is there room for growth? Most likely. But is just throwing more money at a problem going to fix it? No. You know, I absolutely feel that it will take more than just more funding to increase test scores statewide. It's going to take a revamp of how we teach. It's going to take a revamp of that, and you need to focus on how certain students learn and not try to teach them all the exact same way.
Yep, and the point that you make where throwing money is never the solution, there are several countries that score better than us on standardized tests that spend far less per student than we do. We spend from $11,000 to $15,000 per year per student. That's a huge amount of money. That's several people's taxes for the year in some cases. And if we want to really improve our schools, now Maryland has some of the best schools in the country. Let's not leave that out. We have one of the best public school systems in the country. But if we wanted to help some of our schools that are struggling, without throwing more money at it, we could provide incentives for high-performing teachers to go to our schools that are struggling. Stuff like career advancement, improved working conditions, like more planning time. That would help the better teachers who are good at figuring out how certain students learn, help those students, and increase the equity between our performance of schools in lower income areas and higher income schools.
And you know, something else I think really needs to be brought up too is how much of that money do we waste on standardized testing?
Define waste? I don't think all standardized testing is a waste.
Not all of it, but you agree some of it is.
From my vantage point, yeah, but the view's pretty good from the cheap seats. You know, I'm not the one that looks at this all day, every day, and right. I acknowledge the fact that there are those that know more about it than I. I will say that I think, in my mind, this is a data point among many others that we as a state, those who are in leadership for education in our state need to look at. And one of the things that I'm very pleased that Governor Hogan and the legislature has done over the past couple of years is really focus on some of these educational things. Focus on what should the school year look like. Focus on tests, standardized testing. Focus on where we are on school spending. I think I've seen a lot of work in Annapolis towards making our school system better. I don't think this alone is an answer. I think it could potentially be part of an answer.
Well, you know, every time I drive up the driveway, what's the name of the driveway out here called? Commonwealth Avenue.
Yep.
My saying used to be take the wealth out of Commonwealth. And it was because of the spending that was done that had nothing to do with education that created problems. But if you look at education, I like what you said, where you have to get teachers. We have a tremendous African American community in some places in the state of Maryland that you cannot compete with that non-African American community in New Jersey and Massachusetts. So there's an issue there. So I feel that we let the people in Baltimore City down on how we don't get as many teachers in there that we can to teach a different type of curriculum to help the people find the educational success that they deserve. I think we overlook it. I don't think people want to talk about it.
So what you're saying, tailor the education to the audience, not just make a common educational platform and force it down everybody's throat.
Right.
I couldn't agree more.
Yep. And with standardized tests and how those are used as a common platform, I was lucky to escape the public school system just ahead of a lot of the Common Core stuff that was coming in. But I have a younger sister right now who's going into her junior year of high school, and she was telling me about the amount of PARCC testing and other Common Core tests and her AP test that she was doing. Every day, it seemed like for a month and a half, she had some type of standardized tests, and it was taking away from time that she could be spending in the classroom with her teachers learning. It was taking away from just her general energy, because she was dealing with tests almost every single day, and it makes students hate school when you have that many tests in succession. And what is it all for? Just so we can measure the performance of our students, so that bureaucrats in Annapolis and in Washington can feel good about themselves, when the focus needs to be on the teachers and the students and the classroom.
Yeah, and we really shouldn't focus just on test scores, all right? Something we really need to start shifting our focus towards is, all right, well, it's great that they did, got, this in whatever subjects, but what did they do after school? All right, what did they do after they graduated? Did they go on to college? Did they go on to a good trade skill? All right, what happened afterwards? Did the skills we teach them in school actually help them succeed?
Well, many people, once you're in the 3rd grade, you learn how to read. The rest of your life, you read how to learn. So, if you don't learn how to read in the 3rd and 4th grade, the rest of your life, you're not going to be able to read to learn. And that's where we let down on the reading. Reading is one of the most I don't think we emphasize reading near. We worry too much about not calligraphy, but cursive, and not enough about writing.
I couldn't agree with you more on that.
Yeah. Oh. Up next, Fast 5. Stay tuned.